I'm Bowen, I'm the guitarist from the band IDLES, and I also do a little bit of the production in around the band. And I do quite a bit of remixing and things like that as well. IDLES is a like post-punk band, I guess. People would listen to our music and think that our reference points are hardcore, but they're not at all. Like, our reference points are like hip-hop, techno, you know, weird kind of action, things like the Hacks and Cloak and stuff like that would be a reference point for our band. DC did this new comic, it's like death metal, DC death metal or something like that. Tyler Bates, who does a lot of soundtrack stuff, sent us a few of the comic strips and just a discussion on like death metal. And he was like, I don't want it to sound like the genre death metal. Metal for me is like smashing a bit of metal. So I wanted to make this track that kind of like sounded like it was at an ironworks or some kind of like metal factory. So I'm using the preamp. Here it's default, where I've just moved things around to my liking. And then me and Joe were working on this, and he'd be like, oh, can you make it a bit more MIDI or a bit more gainy and stuff like that? I'll boost a bit around like 1K and stuff like this. With the front end now being taken off, it sounds a bit more like a sheet of metal. It's led me down that path. One of my favorite drum sounds ever is on Portishead's Machine Gun. There's the bit at the end where the drums get really flangey. It's very close to it, right? It's got this like robotic sound. There's a metallic swinging thing going on. It's not the same every time. It's a repeated pattern, but it's like, I've set it to like a dotted rhythm rate. So it's like not matching up every time, but there is continuity. I really like the ridiculousness of the reverb intensity or whatever it's called. I find it is really useful for not to be used as like a conventional like room hall reverb sound. It can become rhythmical, it can become tonal, it's even got like melodic elements to it. Like I've used it on stuff where it's like, it's just transformed like a loop, say a looped vocal thing that I'm doing. It can just turn that looped vocal and make it sound nothing like a vocal anymore, and it just sounds like a rhythmical synth. Feedback soundscape. If that doesn't fit the bill, I don't know what does. It's a lot more cinematic, and I think also, yeah, this is the one I really like. It's feeding back on itself, and it's creating that Hans Zimmery sound. So cool. I mean, that's sick, isn't it? One of the big things for me is that they're recognizable. The Memory Brigade, I understand what's happening there. And for me, that helps me process it a bit more. But then it's like, turns out it's so much more. It's straightforward. It looks like the bit of outboard gear. It looks like the pedal that it is. But then also, you know, the extra stuff that's on there is self-explanatory. You know, someone as green as me, who like maybe isn't entirely sure what an LFO does, can find out by tweaking it and moving it around. You can do things whatever way you want to. Expectations are there to be thrown away. If you're enjoying it and you're making sounds that you enjoy, you've won. That's it.